All right, so this video is going to cover how to create multi-view sketches, and this is part of 2.3, and I'm going to show you some tips and techniques that I always use in creating the front, top, and right side view. And if you stick to this process, it will definitely yield some success. So the first thing I want to do is, before I try to create the view that's missing, I want to label some things and get some understanding of what things are. We spoke about this in class yesterday. And so I'm going to label this right here. This is going to be my right side. This is going to be my top view. I'm just going to label the top. And right here, where it's going to end up being my front view. If you notice, I write everything in all caps. This is a standard procedure when doing drafting work. So next thing I want to do is on my isometric over here, which I'm going to label on the isometric all the different surfaces. I'm going to use letters to do that. So this surface right here is going to be A. This surface right here is going to be B. This surface right here is going to be C. This entire surface here is going to be D. And this little surface up here is going to be E. And now I want to put some, indicate my line of sight of all my views on the isometric. So what I mean by that is when I look from this direction here, this is my line of sight, and this is going to be my front view. When I'm standing at this point here, say I'm standing at this X in all these situations, my line of sight is here, and this is going to be my right side. And then here, this is my line of sight, and this is going to be my top view. So when I label all that in the views that are here, when I take those letters and put them in the places that belong, in the top view, I see letter E, and I can see letters D. So I can only see these two letters if I'm standing at this point. I can't see around the corner, and I can't see over a surface to see these letters. So the only letters I can see in the top view is E and D. So when I come to the top view over here, I'm going to label E, and this is surface D. In my right side view, I can see letters C and B. I can also see letter D because this surface is at an angle. So that means that I can see this surface in two different views because of the angle. So this is letter C, this is letter B, and in this view, letter D goes here. And that's this entire surface here. Now what we want to do is figure out what letters would we see in this view, in the front view. I'll see letters A, and I missed the letter right here, and I'm going to call that F. It's letter F. So this is surface A, and this is surface F. All right. So now what I want to do is I've used letters, and I want to distinguish the points that I want to project. And I want to project these points off of each one of these views to help me create the front view. So what do I mean? So this point right here, I'm going to call this point. There's a point, there's a point, and there's a point in the top view. Make those a little bit darker. Point, 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 and point. I'm going to label those. This is point 1. This is point 2. This is point 3. This is point 4. I'm going to do the same thing on my side view because once again, we're going to project lines from the top view and the side view to help us create the front view. So we stopped at 4. I'm going to call this point 5. This is 6. This is 7. And this last point right here would be 8. So now what I'm going to do is find a straight edge. I'm going to use a ruler. And I'm going to project each one of these points by using what we call a projection line. Projection lines are a dotted line uh, that is going to be used to help me lay this out. So I'm going to project from here lightly. I'm going to just use a little dotted line. If you notice, there's already established corners to tell me where the object stops, how wide it is, and how tall it is. I'm going to project point 2. I'm projecting down from the top view into the front view. I'm going to project point 3. And I'm going to project point 4. Now I'm going to project from the side view over into the front view. So I'm going to start with point 5. Point 6. Point 7. And then point 8. So now it probably looks a little confusing. That's okay. Now we're going to look at this and say, okay, well, surface A is here. That means that surface A is going to exist here. And when I look at surface A, what do I see from a shape standpoint? I see kind of a rectangular shape with a slight cut in it. So that means that this line of surface A is solid. That means that in my front view, this line is going to be solid. The base of surface A is solid. So that means that from here to here, it's going to be solid. This line of surface A up to this point, which this point for us was 3 and 6. This line is solid. Okay. Now, might be a little confusing now, but just, bear with me. If you need to rewind the video, the point from 1 to 2 on surface E, from 1 to 2 is this point here and this point here. So that's a solid line. 1 to 2 is solid. Then 2 to 3 is the angle. In this view is angled. In the front view here, this portion is angled. So that means from 2 to 3 is at an angle. And there's surface A. Now you might say, should this line have been solid here? No, there's not a line here, but I just projected that line. I didn't have to take it all the way down here, but there's a habit. Okay. So now what I want to do is look at what's happening with surface F. I know that surface F is going to exist here. What do I know about surface F? Well, there's a line right here, which is this line. Sorry. So, which we already established, the line here between F and A, because you can only see F and A from this view. The line right here is solid, so I have a solid line here. The base of F is solid, so I'm going to make that solid. And that solid line is called an object line. Remember this terminology because it's going to come back up over and over and over. So now I'm taking these projection lines that I made and I'm turning them into solid lines to lay out the shape. So F right here is solid. There's an object line here. So go solid here. And then this surface F angles up to this point. So that means that surface F is going to angle to this point. And so this is how you lay out the multi-view drawing of number 13 in unit 2.3. Once again, to be successful at this, you may have to slow the video down, start it over. My suggestion is when I do something in the video, you should stop the video and do what I do.